We'll give him a few minutes. So we did have a user successfully use the onboarding Blue Bear. So I think perhaps the bugs are fixed. They even went from like desktop to mobile even. So that was like kind of nice that they went over there.
That's great to hear. I sent out about a dozen invitations, so we'll see what this next week looks like.
Nice, yeah. Would be good to get people on. I feel like so we still have like the claim flow to work on, but in general, I think we can start signing people up to get them to use the card. There's a couple more UI UX things, but no blockers, I don't think. All right, let's take an attendance here. Links, Blue Bear, R. Christy, Jonathan, John Cranmer, Winverse, Rainus, Drost, and NF Thinker. All right, GM, one and all. Thank you for joining our weekly all-team meeting. This is a time for us to sync up on what's going on around bCard and also eliminate blockers and prioritize our work, which hopefully means that we're going to be moving forward week after week. So what do we have this week? So we're at total 1,400 transaction volume. That's plus 111 from last week. Shout out to Tom for making the analytics for that. The new analytics will also create we'll also have some of our lead metrics as well. This is based upon the transactions that we're getting from Transcard. So that's pretty exciting. I'm thinking about changing this number to weekly transaction volume because we said we're going to try to hit 1 million first, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll leave it here for now, and we'll change it to weekly after we get to 1 million. So this is what I think is going to move the metrics. The lead metrics will move the lag metrics needle. So transaction volume, that's what we're trying to achieve. But to achieve that, we need to do some of these other things. So we have 4 new users last week. This is number of cards created. So that's, again, in the analytics that Tom made for us. Progress on the generic card. NF Thinker, how's this looking?
It is looking good. We're pretty much sitting at the same point as we were before. We have our design submitted. We are in the queue for MDES, and we should be getting a card soon. I don't think there's anything else left for us to do in terms of getting the card done. That's all sitting on Transcard now.
Awesome. In terms of returning users, I don't actually have a good number for this. The new version of the analytics, hopefully we'll have this next week to show us how many unique users of the card there were and how many new users. That will give us, you do a little subtraction there, and that'll give us our returning users. And 0 new money in the multi-sig this week. Team-wide announcements, it's the same as usual. Now that I have a little bit more time, I think I will get into updating the playbook, but not for a couple weeks because I want to do some stuff on the app first. But I do think that we're well overdue for a strategy update, at least getting our strategy into a single place. A lot of stuff has changed since the last time we made that, and we decided that we were going to do a proof of concept. So do need to update that. Payroll. Yes, I know I've been saying this as well. This I will actually try to do this week if I can. We'll do my best, but I do need to do the patron update first. All right, new member intros. We don't have any. I don't see any at least. So we're going to move straight into our milestones. And our milestones here, well, trying to get to revenue. We have launched the POC to the public. On our private beta, we did get some new user feedback, and we had some blocking bugs after our last production update. There was a lot in that production update, so I guess it's kind of inevitable that that happens. We did fix those bugs according to the latest user testing feedback we've gotten. The tests were very smooth, and in fact, the 2 testers that we got up, they even said adding funds was smooth, and this is using that kind of like old fund flow. So I do kind of want to, I'm interested in what banks they're using, because I think it really depends on the bank how easy it is to add funds to the card, but got some feedback from there. We also added the feedback form. So now if you're using the Bankless Card app, you can go into the profile screen, that little window on the side, and you can add feedback. And I do encourage you, anytime you're experiencing a bug or anything, just go ahead and add some feedback there. We're going to read it and we're going to try to fix it ASAP. So thank you if you're using it. We have a new rewards flow in staging that's ready for testing. Tom, I'm going to try to get into testing that today. I think we're missing a couple things, but you had fixed that one bug that I had talked about yesterday. So I think it's ready to go for me. Next up, going to get some more testers. Blue Bear is working on getting us more testers. I'm going to update the add funds flow with the new UI UX, as well as update a bunch of UI UX fixes from both user testers and from Zooty Bear, who is good enough to create a Figma with a ton of UI UX improvements that we could make. So we'll try to get into that this week and next week. On the new card slide, well, NF Thinker, you kind of mentioned this already, but one thing you didn't mention, which is kind of huge, is that the Nouns card should be ready to put on Apple and Google Play on Google Pay this week, according to Transcard. Now, they've said this week before, and it ended up being a couple weeks, but the key factor is that we are at the front of the queue now. They are adding a bunch of cards to Apple Pay, with the Nouns card being one of them. The fact that the Nouns card is approved for Apple Pay also means that our BIN range, this is like our bank identification numbers, these are the first 6 digits on our cards, that range has also been approved by Apple. So when we're putting our generic card up, hopefully we should be able to get our card up quickly as we can. And I called it the generic card, but I think we're aiming for a different name for that card. I've heard communal card, I've heard community card. I'm not sure what we're going for, but generic card is just not a very, let's say, pleasing term when we're trying to get partners on it. So we could call it a community card or something like that. Content funnel. Rainus, how's this going?
Progressing. So this week we are focusing on the Nouns proposal. That's the only thing that we're promoting this week. Coffee Cluster is aggressively posting about it. And we also we created a little content funnel how we can leverage the Nouns ecosystem, but it largely depends on that we are the ones building the app. So it's for this week we have a little plan if we get the grant. If we don't get the grant, we are going back to the drawing table. The content funnel in general is we have a lot of ideas, and this week I am pulling them all together and structuring them how we could move forward. Also, I don't think I got a clear answer about Taxman, if or when we can promote it, because tax season is coming up, and this year I would love to promote the big stuff out of it. Because that is a community tool, and that's one of our unique selling points that we have. And we have a funnel built for Taxman already in the document, so I would love to see how that works.
Okay, so I will review this week Taxman and give Tom some pointers on what we can update, and we'll try to we will update you on at least the state of Taxman.
Yeah, I think largely the biggest thing that we need to fix up is a lot of labeling and just verification of making sure that tokens are coming in correctly. So in order to test that suitably, I'm gonna need some testers who have earned some rewards in DAO tokens that would be willing to run through some tests for me and let me know if there's anything like funky with their particular tokens. So Bank's the one that I've been testing with right now. But if there's anything else, any other tokens that anybody else wants up top on the list, do let me know ASAP.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we can do is like, so right now, Tom, for Taxman, it has like all the 2023 values for the current tokens, right?
It's looking them up for the most part.
It's looking them up, like using an RPC or something?
Yeah, using some API calls. I'd have to look back and see, but I think that there's just some sort of like clever tricks about the way that it's using those freely available APIs.
Okay. Well, one of the things I was thinking is if we do decide to pay, then we could we could as well like add any token, right? So people could add whatever tokens they want. And the reason I'm saying this is because Retro PGF is kind of based upon how many, like your metrics that you're helping. So if we increase the amount of tokens that are available, like people can kind of select whatever tokens they want, then we can increase the amount of potential users and amount of potential communities who are using this.
For sure. I'm on board with that solution. I think that I know that I had surfaced that as sort of like what I was missing in terms of like making it a fully complete release last year. But I do want to take a quick look like back at it and just dig in a little bit deeper before I say for sure that that's going to be the panacea to solve all of our problems.
Yeah, I don't think I agree. Well, we should do it thoughtfully, but yeah, first step is a review, which I will try to get together this week. And I'm even going to write it down here. Review, Taxman. All right, great. All right, thanks for that update, Rainus. Anything else that you want to say on the content funnels?
Work in progress, but definitely moving forward every week.
Nice. And how about on the community funnel side, and a thinker?
I don't think we've made any specific progress on the community funnel side. Although, I mean, specifically, I've been reaching out to ApeCoin and I'm going to try and onboard them now as our next community. But in terms of general strategy, we haven't really made any changes there. I have a number of other communities who I will also be contacting this week. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Did you guys start the partnership weekly again? I noticed that there are meeting minutes for it.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a weekly meeting specifically, but yeah, we did have a meeting last week between Winverse, myself, and Noman, and we discussed some of the metrics that we were looking for, and then just picked out a few different communities that we were going to target.
Awesome. All right. On the raising side, we submitted a Nouns X Farcaster proposal. I will be honest in saying that right now it's not looking good for us. If you look at Farcaster, if you look at the prop house, some of the top votes are for people who are in the Nouns community already. Willy Wonka, .Nouns, our friends at NNS. So if we wanted to get in, we would need to beat this 498.WTF. And as you can see, when you get into here, you know, they have a lot of Nounish support here. So I do think, you know, a lot of the ones who are up here, they are people who've built stuff for the Nouns ecosystem in the past. Not saying that it's not possible for us to get up here. Right now, we just have 3 votes. So we're kind of middle of the pack. We would need another 30-something votes. So that's at least 4 Nouners who are going to give us their full voting ability, and 2 days left. So we'll see. I don't know. Rainus and Coffee Crusher are working on this, but I will say that like having a noun and knowing people who are nouns does help a lot to making this happen. That being said, it was a good activity for me to just kind of like explore how we can be looking at these communities. And even if we don't get the grant, I do think that it's good for us to post some work in progress. The more that we contribute to the Nounish ecosystem, the more they know us. And if we do ever want to put up a proposal, then that would be helpful for us as well, right? Because, you know, as I said before, the people who are on the top are people that the Nouns universe has seen before. Willy Wonka, .Nouns, Gabriel Ayuso, these are all people who are very active in the Nouns community. So if we're active in the Nouns community, it increases our chances for the future. On the Retro PGF side, we need to start working on this now if we want to be eligible. Optimism released a big post on Retro PGF. They are going to be splitting it up into 4 rounds. And it's going to be 380 million worth of OP, or something like that. 380 million OP over the next like 6 months or something that they're going to be distributing. Some of the things, like there is a builders round which is in May, which I think that we would be eligible for that builders round as well. That's where we would probably want to submit Taxman. And then in the future, in the governance round, if we can make it happen, if we can get governance into our app before then we can also apply for that round as well. So I do think that we need to plan ourselves if we want to get going on, if we want to get some of this retro PGF funding, we need to kind of like take that into account now, and that's why we're talking about things like Taxman. A16Z, do you want to talk about this, Anna Thinker?
Yeah. So the last time I applied for this was for the London cohort. This is the New York cohort. You've said that you would be able to attend that. Now, they have a few different sections on there, the first of which is talking about the founder. It asks how many founders there are. Last time I put 3, and then I proceeded to put all the information for me because I was going to be the one who was going to attend. I would say put down 1 founder, simply because we're a DAO. I mean, you could consider many of us who are here actual founders of this project, co-founders of this project, if you look back and consider how much time and effort we've all put into it. Any work stream leads, I would happily say co-founders, etc. So I think probably putting 1 founder is the ideal situation, because that's who they're going to envision attending the event. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that first section, founder information, is really specifically from you. So you're going to have to fill that stuff out. Down below, there's a project information section. I filled out as much information as possible for that. I'm sure you'll probably find some holes in there that might need filling, but I've tried to answer them as best as possible. And then down below, it talks about influences. Again, that's going to be a section that you're going to have to fill out more specifically. Who are your favorite blockchain authors, who are developers? What's your favorite EIP? Those types of things. And then there are some legal questions at the bottom. So I've tried to fill out as much as possible. So on that note,
EIP, Jesus.
What's that?
What's your favorite EIP is kind of crazy question, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, so for example, what I put for the last one was, let me just have a quick look off the top of my head. I can't remember what the EIP numbers are, but I'll just give you that. Let me just have a quick look here. A16 Accelerator London from before. I put ERC 2981, which is the NFT royalty standard. As an artist, I feel like that's an important thing. And then I also put a second one, which was ERC 6551, which is essentially that allows NFTs to become wallets. So they can custody their own funds as well. And I feel like that's important for things like real world assets, like building. A building could be an ERC 6551, which then contains multiple ERC 20s and ERC other tokens as well, NFTs and fungible tokens, which then become custodied within that building. So those were the things that influenced me. For you, it might be something totally different. Good luck.
All right, thanks.
I have there's a page where I can link you to the different EIP standards as well.
Sweet. All right. On the brand side, we didn't do much work on the new brand this week, but we're doing pretty well. So we can look at it into our Asana board. Oh yeah, as usual, I forgot to duplicate this. Duplicate. I believe it's week 12. ISO week. What's current week number? 13. 13. All right. Boom. All right. And while that's going in, roadmap document. So something that's come up and I've kind of hand waved before is a roadmap document. I do think that in the past we've kind of said oh, we're not going to be doing a roadmap document because we don't even know if we can get a card out or when we can get a card out. Now we actually have a card out. I do think that we could use on our website some kind of very simple kind of roadmap document which says we're going to release the card in the US. We're going to release to multiple communities here. We're going to aim for a worldwide release in this kind of thing. That's we're going to look at this kind of roadmap, and that's really just to that's good for our patrons and our users. So it's going to be something very brief. I think we could put it into the website, maybe on the support site. We'll see. But that's what this is. Anyone want to take this up? It's something that needs to be thought of and designed, but I don't think it's like a massive, difficult task either. As an example, let me show you the Gloom roadmap. It could be something. Here's the Gloom roadmap. It could be something as simple as this, right? Any takers? All right, I'm going to put it into the next up section. If anyone is interested, please do raise your hand. Hey, Rainus, I see you unmuted there.
Yeah, I wanted to say I would love to be a part of whenever that's being created because I want to see how that's done, but definitely not taking responsibility for it because I have no clue how to create a product roadmap. But I definitely want to understand how it's
I
created.
wouldn't call it a product roadmap at all. Like it's like this, right? Like it's like a product roadmap. It doesn't have like a little visual roadmap like this. I guess would be a little bit more interesting.
Features wish list.
Yeah, something like this. Roadmap document. Let's see.
We can ask Jason maybe. We just need to give him the information of what are the.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could do that potentially. Get him some information. Yeah. Okay, but it's next up for now. Nothing we're going crazy on or we need to finish like immediately. But if I get a chance to create a little thing, it might be useful. All right. On the roll salary side, yes, I spent 10 hours. Reyes, did you spend at least 5 hours on Bankus card in the last on bCard in the last week?
Yes.
And I think, did you spend at least 5 hours?
Yep.
And Tom, do you spend at least 5 hours?
Yes, indeed.
All right, and I will ask Coffee Crusher about this. Next up, we're going to take a look at. So, well, what we have in blocked waiting. Announce prop house. We're going to wait until we're launched for this. Change our org emails to use new domains. Basically, some SaaS services. Generic bCard for new communities. We're waiting on Transcard for this. Orange DAO Fellowship. You applied, and now what? We're waiting to hear back?
Yeah, I have not heard anything from them at all. So
All right.
Double check my email here.
And the world needs communities. How's this going, Rainus?
Coffee Crusher is doing the editing for it, and last time we spoke, she said she has a lot to say about it, or something along the lines of a lot of comments or edits, or I'll just let her speak about it, but she's reviewing it and she has many comments.
Okay, cool. So I will leave this for Coffee Crusher this week in the this week section. We could use some content, so that would be good. And yearly filing. This is complete. So we're going to go ahead and put this in the done section. And yeah, nice work, Arkusi, on that. I'm going to leave it in the accounting inbox because we want to get that out of there, but I will remove it from all team and everything else. Now, Zach Sparkcaster, this is done. So I guess we would, on the 29th, we'll know whether or not we got it. As I said, I'm not super hopeful about this, but it's good for us to close the loop on that anyways. I really want to send out the patron email very shortly. I mean, I need to for March, but I'm going to try to write it today, kind of first thing. Adjustments to the ad funds flow. This is kind of the next thing on the list. Now that we fixed those production bugs, I want to get into this as well. So hopefully this week we will work on that. On the beta app side, you know what? I'm going to also put like, there's a project for Taxman down here. Taxman V2. I'm going to pull this up too because I need to review Taxman. So I'll put this a little bit ahead of that. Next step, review Taxman and put output here of what needs to be fixed before we start to promote it. All right, boom. There we go, Taxman V2. All right, adjustments to the ad font flow we talked about on the beta app. As I kind of described earlier in the meeting, we're trying to get more user testers on and then fix up those UI UX issues. We also want to start creating a way to get an SUS score, kind of in an automated way, but we'll work on that as we go. Find a new on-ramp provider. How's this going, NF Thinker?
We have no progress this week. So whatever updates have been put there, I believe we put everything on there in terms of, yeah, that's fine. Yep.
All right.
Um,
I'm going to
oh,
ask
you know what? There is one
institutional.
other thing, and that was mentioned also by our custody, and that's Zeke. There is the potential of allowing customers to use Zeke to fund their cards for free, but it does take up to 3 days to receive the funds. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's doing the same thing we're doing, right? It's probably using ACH, right? The one thing is that if we do it that way, it might be that it in our app. I'm not quite sure. We'll see.
Okay.
Update website. How's this going, Renus?
Andy is chopping away at the design. Jonathan is already coding the wireframe slowly because he has another website that he's currently finishing up, but he's working on it. And me and Coffee are working on the content, the text for the website. Hopefully, we'll have some more progress next week, but this week it is just working.
Yeah. Feel free to ship some of this stuff internally to the team, even if it's like a work in progress. It's still worth getting feedback early and often.
Yep, will do.
And I'll ask Coffee Crusher for how the editing on that's going. Writing of frequently asked questions. This needs to be reviewed, so I will try to review it when I can, but I'll leave it in the this week section. So thanks for writing that, Blue Bear. Deploy Nogs token. Get Nogs token from MNS. Allow Nogs to be claimable within our app. So Tom, I know that you deployed the staging contract, and code for rewards claim is going on. Is that correct?
Yep, you got it. I'm just nailing down the flow. I did a little refactor the other day on the rewards process. I think it's getting really close to being ready and abstractable for all tokens. Hopefully you and I can maybe jam together a little testing on that today.
Yeah, I was planning on testing the whole rewards flow as much as I can.
Give me a call. We can do it together.
Sure, sounds good. All right. So honestly, I mean, are we keeping this up here as this, or like, I guess you're still working on it, right? Until we get it out the door? Yeah, we'll leave it here until we get out the door.
Yeah, I think I would like to at least have a final contract published. And certainly I think when we go to production push, I'd be happy.
Great. All right, cash flow for the POC. Christy, how's this going?
So I didn't get a chance to do the work I wanted to do on it so far, but other stuff came up and I wasn't really feeling 100% last couple of days, but I'm better now, so maybe I'll get a chance to look at it.
And you always got to take care of yourself. Can't take care of others if you don't take care of yourself first. So good to healthy first. All right, Kraus House, how's this going, NF Thinker?
Yeah, I spoke to Commodore. He did respond to me. Who knows? We shall see.
Cool. So is this active then? Should I move this somewhere else?
No, I don't think that would be active. I think that could be
Okay.
kind of a next up in the community section.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Next up. All right. Write article for PCI compliance. I haven't heard from Corrupted Pineapple, so I'm going to put this into the next up, and we'll see if he shows up at some point. Update brand graphical assets to bCard. How's this going, Rainus?
We have the profile pictures. We're still last thing is post hero images. Jason might be a bit blocked on this. Do you links because you requested mostly the post hero images? Do you have any examples maybe that you?
It was actually Coffee's request, but like I guess like if you go to, I mean, let's just go to just like some random blog on Paragraph, like here, Purple Submarine. So you see like every single. Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's like a brand graphical thing, but it is like, you know, like if we can get into a flow where we have these post images and they're like somewhat different, that might be interesting.
Could you send me this link, please? Just
Yeah, sure. Like, I think if you go to any one of these, I mean, this guy uses all the same one, but let's see if there's can find another good one. Here's one from our buddy.
Liquidity.
Yeah, Liquidiate. So here, I'll send you that link here. So yeah, there's something going on here, right? Like there's where's the other one that I went to? Here's Crypto Sapiens. Yeah. Oh, no thanks. But you can now it's all. Oh yeah. So you see, it's just slightly different, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll forward this so he has some inspo and we can finish this off. By the way, talking about this theme, we should think about a collective media repository or something like that because BDAO is canceling our Dash subscription, so there will no longer be a luxury like that anymore. But we do need one place where we could easily share all of our graphical assets and media to each other if needed.
Yeah. So we do have. I mean, we do have our Google Drive that we can use. We're paying for it already, right?
Yeah, the media.
But we're using actually a lot of our stuff is on my personal Google Drive. We should probably move that over to our. This was like that was created before we created our team Google Drive, and we have like a bunch of space on our team Google Drive. So we could use that. I mean, we're not going to be able to put things like massive videos.
Of course.
Yeah, but
I'm talking about like logos and something to send over to campaigns and like quick assets shareable if somebody needs them.
Yeah, okay. You know what I'll do? Let's just put this in the inbox here. Set up our team Google Drive. Okay. I will assign it to myself. Success criteria.
Since we're on that topic, I just wanted to make a note here that just be aware that basically everything that we have shared on social media that links back to anything that goes to link.assetfile.io, that is the permalink to any asset that has been put on Dash. And when we shut down Dash, all of those links will be broken.
Okay. Well, that's not great. This is like what kind of stuff is on there?
All the audiograms we've done.
Okay, so those audiograms, I downloaded them and re-uploaded them to the platform.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and then
at
I think
least
like with videos that we put up on our YouTube channel, I think that's a similar situation where it gets uploaded to Dash, then it gets downloaded and then re-uploaded down to YouTube. So
Yeah.
I think that won't be an issue either. But yeah, as far as Rainus is commenting about some of our other visual assets and SVGs and all those assets, yeah, it's been a conversation in Treasury too about really needing to shut that down because it's so damn expensive. And I kind of dropped the ball on. I volunteered to review some of that content, and I haven't.
I mean, it's a lot to review.
Jules, do you know when that is happening?
I was not in the latest meeting, but I saw in the chat that that basically when the next bill comes due, they're basically gonna be shutting it down. So I was the person that originally was chatting with the vendor back in 2021 when NeoLocos was still around, and we might be able to get a little bit out of it, but I have a feeling that once we decide not to pay a bill, they're going to cut us off. So I think it's an urgent matter, and I think we need to pick a Google Drive or whatever, and just put all of our content on it that still is relevant, and just ditch the rest. And
I will go through Dash and everything bCard related. I will download it, so we have it today.
all right, and I need to do that too, and just look and see who's been on it recently, who hasn't been there forever, and if there's any asset. I mean, it's just there's a lot of content out there, but frankly, there's a lot of cruft like POAPs and stuff. The original artwork, you don't need it anymore because the POAP is the POAP, and frankly, that original artwork shouldn't be accessible to anybody if it's a POAP now.
There's like the whole beta visual history on it. Like every community call is on Dash, like since
I know.
Like, so
I hate to lose all that stuff.
Yeah. Like I don't know what's the I hope that the Treasury's plan isn't just to cut it and forget it, because like it's 2 years of people's work.
3 years almost, yeah.
3. It's 3.
And so what I would like to do, and I don't want to take a lot of time on this call, but I would like to have a conversation with folks at the company and say, look, is there an orderly way where we can pull the assets off the platform because we can't afford it, bottom line. We're basically a club now, and we can't be spending that kind of money every month. Help us out. And they're really nice guys. They're a small company, and I'm sure they'd hate to see us go, but I think I'd like to have that conversation, and I think it'd be a pretty candid one. So anyway, yeah, I'm nervous about it too, Ranis. So so maybe we can chat a little bit later about that. But I'll get in touch with the company, and I know Ice Cool has been on this too because of the Treasury side of it. So, but yeah, I'm really worried about they're just going to shut it down before we have a chance to get the assets off. So that's been on my radar too.
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate that. I will set up the team Google Drive so we can at least put stuff in there. We have something like 210 gigs, so it's not a lot, right? Like it's not a lot. 210 gigs.
For graphical assets, it is a lot. For videos, it's not.
Yeah. Okay. We may have to figure out another way to hold our videos and that kind of stuff, but I don't think that we can take on at this point like a Dash kind of situation. We just don't have that flow right now. All right. So I leave this with you then, Ranis, the update brand graphical assets, and I will create a Google Drive for us.
Yep.
All right, cool. Our POC launch campaign is ready. I guess we kind of talked about this. I don't know. I don't really like how this task is just here kind of forever. I mean, it's almost a year old now. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's like 9 months old or something like that. But still, like, not quite sure what we're trying to do with this. Maybe we should talk about it at the communication meeting.
We can, yeah. I think this has already morphed into our
co-marketing
campaign framework, which is like a baseline for when we launch. But the POC itself, it also ties in with the content funnel that we're creating, and like what I said, that we have a lot of ideas in a mishmash, and I'll organize them this week.
Yeah, we really need some organization around the communication, because like ultimately this is a milestone, so it's like shouldn't really be here. It should kind of be like up in this like milestone section. So I'll put it up there for now.
I'll prepare something for tomorrow.
But yeah, like all this stuff, go-to-market strategy, like the stuff that you discuss in your weekly milestone update is none of it's in here, right? So would be good to have it in there, so it's obvious what we're working on a week-to-week basis.
Yep.
All right, subscriber bi-monthly newsletter. I think that this next one is going on.
I'm sending it out like after this call. So.
All right, great. Thanks a lot. Transcendence, NF Thinker, how's this going?
Yeah, I heard from Alan. He sent over a draft of the video. It looks pretty cool. He asked me not to share it yet because they're working on fixing some tweaking some elements and making some edits. And I've asked him when we will get that from him. So looking forward to receiving the final copy. As soon as we do, I'll be passing it over to Drost, and he will be working on the video. I mean, the audio.
Nice. All right. And on the video content side, Rinus, how's this going?
Ovsky has taken up the charge for video content. This week he is learning how to film with the camera. I've been well, not this week, for the past 2 weeks. So he's already filmed an event, and today he's filming for another business. He will get his hands dirty around the camera, and we will start. And I'm also thinking of appearing in the videos myself as well. So it's going to be me, Andy, and Ovsky, three of us charging this part, because we need a lot of videos if we want to reach the audience that we require.
Yep, agreed. All right. Anything else that we're working on that's not on this list here? I guess Retro PGF needs to start. I'm going to put this in the inbox because I do think it's important.
Oh, just real quickly, I volunteered to go to help share documentation and stuff. And I just want to let you know that I don't have visibility in Asana, and I realize that they're paid seats. I don't want to pester you with that, but I can't see it at all. And then the other thing was, no, for whatever reason on Notion, I don't know if it's because the account I have tied to Notion tied to that, but I don't have edit access to the bCard stuff. So I have not touched any of that because of access, and I've also been super busy. So just FYI on that, if you'd like me to touch it, I need access.
Yeah. So what you kind of cut out there at the beginning. What is your task that you're trying to accomplish?
Oh, I had just volunteered to help flesh out some documentation with Blue Bear, and he had sent me some links to both the Notion docs as well as the Asana board. But I don't have visibility into it.
Can you send me your email?
What's the case? Pardon me?
Can you send me your email?
Yeah.
Whichever email you want to use. Yeah.
So I want to make sure I'm using the right one, but yeah, I'll DM. But
Yeah,
I just wanted to apologize
email?
for not touching it, because I haven't actually even had access. But that's
no worries. As for Asana, like basically this all team project's pretty much only me and like a very few other people have access to all team, but like we break ourselves up into these kind of sub teams. So if you're working on this, I can add you to the product board, and you can put all your work on the product board, and then I can cross post it to all team if it's like a big task. Okay.
And for now, I'm not doing a whole lot. Paid seats certainly don't add me, but I just wanted to give an FYI that
it's all we're doing it this way because it's free this way.
Okay, great, no worries.
So yeah, as long as we keep it below 15 people per like sub team, it'll continue to be free for now at least. So
okay, cool.
All right, yeah. So just send it over, and I will get you on there. But other than that, anything else that we're working on that's not here? All right.
RNDAO was one of the ones that we had discussed before. They're moving forward with their demo day, and I didn't hear back from them at all. So I'm guessing we did not get in.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks for that update. Anything else? All right, let's get back into what we shipped this week. All right, so Tom shipped a new rewards flow to staging, which we will review today. I shipped some bug fixes to the onboarding. Blue Bear and I shipped a new user feedback form. Tom shipped updates to the transaction analytics. I shipped a Farcaster X Nouns proposal. Our multi-sig paid for our yearly Panama fees. Pacifica filed our financials. NF had a partnership follow-up with Vasil from Gateway and a meeting with a new card issuer WireX. NF started comms with Big Bull and Allcity from ApeCoin DAO and completed project-specific questions from the A16Z application. Anything else that anyone shipped this week that we want to call out here? No. All right. Well, let's everyone try to ship something. I think like if we're even shipping something tiny, even if we're shipping it internally, like for instance, if we had some website content that is just like this is a rough first draft and you shipped it internally, do ship it. The point of this section is that we are trying to ship on a weekly basis. So even if you ship something tiny, even if it is like a sentence of content, go ahead and share it with us because I think that that feedback loop is really, really important. All right, so we have a couple discussion items and not that much time. I think that Nouns X Farcaster is the biggest one. How do you think we should promote this? I mean, I guess, Reyes, you said that Coffee Crusher was kind of like doing this. She was posting aggressively, I guess you said. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what the best way to do this is. Any ideas?
Well, now nouns are mostly on Twitter and Farcaster, and that's where we reach them. So I'm relying on her to communicate that message. I don't think we have the time to create any fresh content. It's more of a text and preview of the app and the proposal and promoting the value of it.
Yeah, I mean, how about from a partnership perspective? And if Thinker, do you think we should be like reaching out to individual nouns? Do we know individual nouns?
I know a few, but I know that quite a few of them have put their own proposals forward and have already allocated votes to themselves. I might reach out to Rachel Brissenden because she asked me to help her on a nouns prop that they have live right now. And so maybe she could help us with our efforts as well. Beyond that, I mean, the people that, as I started there, the people who we're in contact with, Dom, Prof Worder, C. Corella.
Prof did vote for us, which is nice.
Yeah, Prof voted for us already. Chris, I'm not sure what his motives or intentions are at this point in time. And I have already reached out to him for another project before this. So I don't really want to like step on the gas there too much and burn any bridges. But it really comes down to who do we feel comfortable asking for votes? And I don't believe I'm connected with that many nouners. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I think you're more active in Purple than I am, and there are quite a few builders there.
In general, I think that the only way that we're going to get votes is to reach nouns individually. I don't think like a one-to-many strategy is really going to work that well, personally. So I mean, not that I think, and like for me, I'm also wondering like if it's even worth our effort to do it. To like really get deep into it. We did it for Retro PGF. Like we put in a bunch of effort on the promotion side and it worked out really well. Like I was connecting with individuals. I was just like searching crypto Twitter every day. I would put like an hour or two searching crypto Twitter for people who had mentioned Retro PGF and mentioning our proposal. So I'm not really sure the best way to do it. But I do think that it's got to be like a one-to-one thing, just because like there's so many proposals up there. If we want to do it, then we gotta like engage directly.
Okay. So I guess it really comes down to who do we know who do we think would vote for us?
Yeah, or find out where people are talking about it and kind of like insert ourselves into the conversation in a positive some way.
Yeah. That's I guess that's Farcaster that's happening there. There's some threads in there, and you know I posted in there saying kind of good luck to everybody, but I didn't actually shill our project at all. How do we do it without being shilly? That's the main thing, right?
Yeah, it's
just a quick question. Do we have any unfair advantage in comparison to like community members putting forward proposals? Because it strikes me that we're definitely behind them in the queue in terms of like the people know us and we're available, but we are down the road in terms of partnering on a project build that is specific to nouns and the nouns ecosystem. So that might be something to leverage in terms of our messaging, that we're attempting to pursue these grants in the interest of to build in the nouns ecosystem that we've been working on for the last 2 years.
Yeah, so the thing that that NF Thinker brought up before is that most of those people who we would talk to about that submitted their own proposals.
Oh yeah, I think so. Sorry, I was just thinking in terms of, so we're definitely not ahead of those people, but the thing that makes us maybe different than other projects is that we have been in active development for a number of years already on a nouns project, right? Just like, I guess, probably some of those other folks too.
Yeah, but we didn't ask, like, we didn't, like, they won't know that, like, that we were doing that because we never asked for money from nouns. We've only been speaking with NNS, and maybe it's a more of a reason to build in public, right? I think, like, even us having put that NOGS, like, oh, we did our first transaction on base, we put it on NOGS. Like, I think, like, even us doing those kinds of things is that would give us more credibility. Had we done that over the last 2 years, this is how we're engaging with the nouns ecosystem, we would be in a better place to do that now, but it might be a bit too late to do that now for this specific proposal. But I do think that we should be doing it more than just, like, I think, like, the problem with us only engaging with NNS is that when it comes to something that we are, like, quote unquote competing with NNS, and I know it's all positive sum and we're not really competing, but ultimately, we've only shown our nounishness to NNS, and if we want more people to see that, then we need to do it more publicly. Does that make sense, Tom?
Oh yeah, for sure. I guess from my standpoint, I thought we were more visible than we were.
Yeah. We haven't been as visible as we could be. Perhaps this is a reason for us to work in public more. Yeah, so I do think that this is like a lesson that we need to take. But yeah, like, honestly, I'm okay. It did take me a while to write the proposal, but I'm okay to kind of just say, like, okay, we'll leave Coffee Crusher to promote as best we can. But from now on, the lesson is that we should be cross-posting to more of these communities as we're working on their stuff that would be interesting to them. Like, for instance, NF Thinker, when you even have a meeting with someone at, like, ApeCoin DAO or something, maybe you could just post on Farcaster and or Twitter, hey, we had a meeting with this person from ApeCoin DAO, and, like, do some sort of ApeCoin hashtag, so people from ApeCoin DAO are like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Is that advisable? Does that make sense?
No, I think that makes sense. I would just clarify that with the people I'm meeting with, first of all. And yeah, I think that would be fine.
Cool. And again, Tom, I think what you posted for that, we did our first transaction on base, that was actually exactly what I'm talking about. I think that was exactly the kind of content. We can cross-post the nouns, we can cross-post the base. Our go-to market strategy is all around community. The more community interest content we put up, the better. Even if it's something tiny, it's still something great.
Yeah, I think I just followed your advice to start being a bit more public about it. I'm definitely bad at sort of broadcasting that way, but I'll try to be a bit more engaged socially.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll try my best to, right? Like, honestly, I'm terrible at this too. But I do think that, like, even the fact that, like, oh, I did a bug fix based upon beta testers from Bankless DAO, I could post that to the Bankless DAO Farcaster. I could post it to the Bankless, like, to Twitter and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. All right. Lesson. Be more vocal about working in public.
we're working in public.
Every time we meet someone, yeah, something like that, post about it. Every time we deploy a feature for someone, post about it with communities. Poster for our community, post about it. Yeah. So yeah, lesson: be more vocal about working in public. Even on your personal accounts, if you, I mean, obviously your personal accounts are your personal accounts, but if you feel so inclined, just post about it. I think on Farcaster it's a lot easier because you can post to a channel. But yeah, if you feel like saying, hey, we're working on bCard over here, I think that's a good thing. I think like any kind of work that you do, if you feel like posting about it, please do. If you don't feel like it, that's totally fine too. But eventually, I would like to be the kind of organization where people are like, "Hey, I had lots of fun working on this thing with bCard." So we'll see. Anything else you want to say on the Nouns X Farcaster stuff?
Not specifically from my end, although you're right. Just getting as much information out there publicly as possible is always good. Yeah, continue that effort. Shout it from the rooftops what we're doing.
Cool. All right. Next up, well, we don't have that much time, but I guess like I've been meaning to like do this visualization exercise. So maybe we can just like do a quick 3-minute version. How does a world where blockchain is integrated in real life look like? I'll start, and you guys can chip in as you like. But ultimately, I think like when blockchain is integrated into the real world, we won't see it. It'll just be there. It's like saying like, how will we know when internet is integrated into the real world? You could argue that it is already. I think we could be doing it much better, but no one's like really thinking about internet except when they don't have it. I think that's the interesting part. It's that integrated into our technology. No one's talking about transistors, and yet we use them every day in multiple different things. So I do think that when blockchain is integrated into the real world, we won't even know it's there, and that would be a good thing. All right, I'll say. Oh, go ahead, NF Thinker.
No, I was gonna say that's exactly it. And once we abstract away all the complexities of working in blockchain or integrating blockchain, it will become much easier to use it in real life. That's pretty much what we're doing right now. Claim rewards, etc. Like the biggest problem that people have is seed phrases and not getting rugged, right? Like security, privacy, and then they start to understand the importance of self-sovereignty, data ownership, etc., etc. So we will start to see big changes once people realize that their content, that they are the product. This has been said many times before. If the product is free, you are the product, and people need to change their perspective on what the costs are of interacting with an ecosystem. So the more people realize, hey, this might cost me something up front, but in the long run, it will be more valuable for me. I think that will be important, and that will be when we start to see major change.
So here's the way I put it here, is that pay $5 a year to use Farcaster or use Facebook for free and they sell your data. Does that make sense? Kind of like that?
Yep, exactly.
All right. Drost, I saw you unmuted. Do you have something to say?
Oh, there's just a word that came to mind, and that as things get further and further abstracted and then remixing, who's the original creator? Where's that percentage of ownership? It's like, it's like when a movie is made and you've got those residuals that flow down to everybody that worked on the film, all the crew members, all the cast in perpetuity. and blockchain allows that for whatever the asset is. Anyway.
Absolutely. All right, I'll stop this here. It's a discussion I've been wanting to have over the last couple of weeks, so I think it's really important, and I see that we're out of time, but we're talking about just the abstraction of technology here. The benefits that you can think of are things like what Joe said, the ability for creators to get paid for their work without having to do a shit ton of work to do that, instead of having to like go through all these legal hoops to get paid for the things that you do. You instead can get paid directly from those consumers, and hopefully those consumers will be willing to do that because they don't have to pay a middleman for this stuff. Maybe they're going to be getting their stuff cheaper, or maybe they're going to be getting it for the same price, but the creators are getting more of that value. That is the draw of blockchain, is that you don't need to have an intermediary between you and your audience. Think about what that means when you don't need to have an intermediary between you and your audience. It seems like such a small, simple thing, but if there's someone between me and my customer, they're always going to be in control. They can charge whatever they want for access to my customer. Seems kind of ridiculous, doesn't it? And yet that's what we do for our money. You know, there's always a bank between us and our customer. That's what we do for our content. There's always like some sort of content platform or distributor or publisher between the artists and their audiences. That is a shame. And that idea of a public ledger, seems like such a small change, but there was a little city-state called Florence who invented double entry accounting, and because they invented this double entry accounting system, they were basically able to open pan-European banks across the known world and become the most powerful city-state in that era. How? Because they invented this new form of accounting. So this public ledger is just as revolutionary as double entry accounting. It's just as revolutionary to me as the internet itself. So we shall see how this goes, but think about that. Think about how the world could change if you don't have someone between you and your customer, or if any business doesn't have someone between them and their customer. It changes a lot when you think about it. Although we are over time, so I just want to say thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you for the work that you're putting in, and thank you for having these visualization exercises with us. I think it's important for us to think about the future. It's only by going to the future that we know what we need to be doing right now. So all the best to one and all, and I'll see you around. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, see ya.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
See ya.
Bye.